I'm here with Holly Chapple, owner of Hope Flower Farm and Winery in Waterford, Virginia, and she has a great story.
I'm a wedding and event designer in the Washington, D.C. area, but I also do destination weddings, luxury weddings, and I'm a teacher and floral educator. We also have this farm, which is Hope Flower Farm. This is where we teach floral design, but it's a floral destination, so it's open to the community for flower festivals and workshops, and we have healing retreats and sound baths and all kinds of stuff happening here at the farm.
And you've also spoke internationally.
Yes, I speak all over the world on floral design to the professional florist. Like I was just in DC last weekend at Art and Bloom, and I was in Spain, and I've taught all over. But the farm is our roots in the ground. This is where I grow the flowers, where I get to engage with the community and host events to expose flowers to normal people who aren't flower obsessed like I am. We have a studio in our home, which is 2 miles down the road. We were home based for, I don't know, like 26 or 7 years. And then in 2015, we bought the farm and we were using it just as a training facility. It's a school for florists, but it's an old working dairy farm. So it has a manor house and a cottage, and then it has 3 barns. And so guests would stay in the houses and study with me. They would come in and style tables like this. And then in 2020, all of our weddings were postponed and all of our students were unable to come. The flowers that we were growing on the farm at that time were used to support the weddings and the workshops. So the flowers had no place to go, and our community was hurting and needed to get outside. So we started no contact flower arrangements, and you could order them online and then just pick them up in the barn, no contact. And we did that all through 20. In 21, we decided to go for a winery, got a license so that we could make the experience more robust and full throttle here. In 21, that was also my husband, who was my business partner, my wonderful husband of 35 and a half years. We have 7 kids. He was diagnosed with cancer. So Ev completed the winery and got us our zoning in 21. And then in 22, the day after the ribbon cutting, he died. Being open to the public has really changed the farm. It requires so much more care, so many more flowers, so much more maintenance. And then, of course, having a winery staff and all of that. But we're seeing the vision that the 2 of us had through. And it is really joyful when there are people on the farm. The festivals are amazing. So we have a upcoming events tab on the Hope Flower Farm website. The farm is open to the public Thursday to Sunday through the spring until winter. These festivals are like a really big fun thing that happens here, live music and food trucks. We also have open markets. We have other people using the farm for sound baths and yoga. The possibilities of where this will go is endless. I see it becoming a hub for a lot of businesses. We have friends coming in from Sister Sourdough, and they'll start selling sourdough from here. We have a young man who is starting a lavender farm from here. So there are lots of business changes and growth and development. And we're also very into service work. We let the farm get used for things like the Ryan Bartel Foundation. We support kids. We do things with cancer. We do things with all different types of charities, mental health, physical health. That's a big part of, it's a pillar of the company with service work. We also are going to start charging like an admittance to come to the farm, but the admittance will be food. And then the food will be canned food and it'll be sent back to the food bank. Any way that the farm can encourage kindness and community service, we're working on that as well. Okay.
So you grew up on a farm, is that right?
Sure. We came to Loudon when I was 5, but my parents had a property and animals when I was a kid. Even we grew up in Chilham, Maryland. So we came to Loudon when I was 5. So I've been here for a very long time. And horses, cattle, all of that. And also always plant stock because my parents had a garden center. My dad's garden center is the Meadows Farms on Route 7.
Yeah,
so
cool.
He built that, and then Loudonberry in Luckett's was Daddy's also. So I've just always been in plants and farming, yeah. Horses everywhere. It's always been like that.
And has it always been flowers for you?
No. When we were kids, we had a help at the garden center, and I did not want to do that. It wasn't until harvesting and using the flowers that became my jam, when I could take something and cut it and turn it into art. And it just went from there. That's how it happened.
Tell me a little bit more about that. What was it about taking something just from outside and bringing it inside and making?
Initially, it started because when we were young, our home was very modest and we had kids everywhere, and really, quite frankly, no decorations or anything like that. So I started bringing flowers in from the garden. The house that I live in, just 2 miles down the road, has tons of beautiful shrubs and things and stuff I would get from Dad to plant. I still harvest a lot from those 2 acres. I would bring those flowers into the house and it would change the energy in the house. Flowers can make a very humble space look alive, and they change the way that we feel inside. And we definitely saw that during COVID. People started asking me to do weddings, and it just rolled like that. And when I was pregnant with my 7th child, I started blogging and I jumped on the social media train, which most florists did not. And that put me in front of a lot of budding and blooming florists who wanted to have businesses like mine. And I became their teacher and mentor. And we started a collective of florists, which is international. And that's when we were hosting workshops like in New York and London. And then I was also getting asked to speak and teach at other conferences and workshops or wholesale houses or trade shows. That's how it all happened. And then the flowers, like, I love designing, but I do like for the elements to be fresh, and it's a big incentive for me to continue to grow.
What would you say to somebody that doesn't like flowers?
I don't think there's anybody that doesn't like flowers.
Yes, those people don't come to flower farms.
Those people are not even in my realm. They don't exist.
Yeah.
I don't know of anyone that doesn't like flowers. What could possibly be wrong with flowers? Their nature, they're tangible, that we can touch and bring inside, have by our bed, have in our kitchen window. Everybody loves flowers. They're colorful, they're vibrant, they're like people. There are a million different little shapes and sizes. No, everyone likes flowers.
So your story inspires me so much because of the degree of resiliency that you have and humility. You're pretty amazing.
It's been a good life, but it was good juju out, good juju in. But resilient that's hard. You just have to keep going.
But you've picked yourself up so many challenges, 7 kids, not having a lot of money, starting a business, doing something that people don't do by creating the industry that you created. Your husband, his passing, all the times that you've recreated yourself and like risen from the ashes is pretty amazing.
There's a force that propels me. But the last couple of years have been really hard. They are hard. But I'm luckier than most people in my shoes because I have this legacy. I have all these flowers he planted. I have something I love. I have this farm. Everything, everywhere, he touched it. And I can share it with a lot of people that I really care about. That's a blessing, but it does get daunting because it's a huge responsibility to take care of this land, to find the time to do the things we need to do, to take care of the kids, and just to make it all work. It's financially, it's grueling. So weddings are really a big part of what I do. I love the weddings. I will always do them. That is how I am a teacher, but I would prefer to be at the farm doing more community service work and watching this grow. That would be the big goal. And I would like to get beyond this grief bomb that goes away. Thankfully, it's going away a little bit now. 2.5 years later, it started to subside a little bit. Now we're 2 years and 10 months out, and it is definitely, I'm getting some breaks, but it happens to come back, which I really wasn't anticipating that it would come back with the same vengeance that it had when it started. But I keep going.
And what do you think those slivers are? Like, what are the things that bring you joy or a little bit of peace?
It's always the flowers. It's being with friends. It is community service. Obviously, having worked with you, that has helped. I don't like working on myself. And without your support, I don't think I would have made it. That has given me just an inner strength that got me excited to try and do other things. I am practicing and experiencing and trying to find other things that I like. So I've picked up guitar and I'm doing art, and music is extremely important to me. I found that was part of the switch that flipped. So I pretty much have music going all the time. So I will be hosting bands and things this year. If this could become a music venue, I'd be really happy. But I don't know, some things come naturally to me and some things don't. The physical health has been really hard for me. And I definitely saw a difference when I started working with you, and that kind of opened up this I'm gonna go wild and live kind of attitude. It's just hard to stay there, in particularly when one of these waves comes, but working on it.
So what about the discipline with your business and the discipline taking care of your children and in all these other areas of life? If you could bottle that, what would it look like? When you persevere, what does that look like?
Discipline to me is a regimented, organized, focused person.
It's a commitment.
Okay. Commitment to me is what has to be handled next. Honestly, this sounds terrible, but it's like being a firefighter. What's the next thing? Is it one of the children that has to be somewhere, or is it an order that's going out? And quite frankly, all of these things are always on fire. That's why I end up being last. It's what paperwork's due, what phone call has to be made, what is the next thing that is the most pressing, most urgent. And that's how I've always tackled. And I think if I looked at the big picture, I think if most people looked at the big picture around here, they wouldn't do it. It is intimidating. But I just try and take it in little chunks. What's next? What is really urgent or even life-threatening? When you're out in the garden and you're pulling the weeds and you see a kid who's climbed up on the roof or climbed out of their bedroom window, that has become the most urgent thing. So that's the way that I've always looked at it. I hate to say this. My mantra used to be, like, is anybody going to die over it? And if anybody wasn't, it wasn't crucial. Like, I would go where the fire was. If I was on a flower delivery with 4 kids in the car and I was going to be late to ballet, was anybody going to die over the fact that we didn't get to ballet on time? No. Did I have to get the flower order where it was supposed to be? And did I need to keep all these kids with me because I didn't have a babysitter? That's the way my brain used to work. And it still is how I handle things, like what is most pressing and most important and life-threatening. And flowers, it can be life-threatening. If they don't get in the ground, they don't get harvested, there's a lot of urgency with them.
So creating urgency or recognizing urgency.
Recognizing it. I don't have to create it. There's a lot of urgency around here.
So when you took this turn to start taking care of yourself, including all the things, right? Eating right, working out, seeing friends, picking up new skills. What was the urgency with that?
The urgency was that I knew I was losing my strength. I knew I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And I knew if I was going to remain in charge of all this, I needed to be stronger, and hoped that it would propel me forward with more energy.
And what about seeing friends and learning new skills?
It gave me the courage too to just try new things. I think being out with friends I'm really an extrovert. I love being around people. My husband was not. Having the farm open to the public, probably we did that some when he was alive, and it actually really stressed him out because he could actually also see all of the potential dangers. I try and ignore those and just enjoy people. So being around people is really important to me, and why I'd like to just be here on the farm instead of out, like actually on a delivery. That will come someday.
So how much of your time do you think you're spending making deliveries, and how much is on the farm now?
It changes from season to season. We're about to go into wedding season, so we'll be out and about a lot. Still more time on the farm always because preparation happens here. We're producing the flowers in the studio and then go out on deliveries.
And have flowers or this business taught you anything about yourself or how you approach life?
I think it's really important that I be surrounded with beautiful things. It's taught me that there's a season and that things change and things come and go. And it's taught me that no matter what it is, whatever your craft is that you love, It has arms and legs, and it has the ability to get you to other people. You can build community around whatever your passion is, and that there aren't limitations, because I would have never imagined as a little girl growing up in Loudoun County or becoming a florist that I would become a teacher that would travel internationally. I have a mechanic that is used in the profession of florist, and now it's mainstream, so it makes flower arranging easy. So it's a branded, patented item that bears my name. So it is an important part of the profession of floristry. I didn't realize that I was supposed to have limitations. So when I had an idea or a concept or wanted something or developed a relationship, I took it to the next level. So that's always what I did.
And what's something that you want to share about flowers with other people, or even the growing process?
I already shared what I believe they do to us. And I think the growing process I think it's so much harder than people realize, how much labor and time and work goes into getting a bloom into fruition.
Or any kind of bloom.
Yeah. It's a lot of hard work. And it's very costly. And sometimes I feel like the industry got commercialized and flowers got mass produced. And it was all about how long they lasted. It didn't matter how pretty they were anymore or where they came from. And I think that's really sad. There's just not enough respect for it.
We're in this ever-connected world where we all only see snapshot pieces, and there's always more. Like you being a business owner here, you're calm above the water, but there's so much going on.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with the flowers, same thing with any of this. We're able to see so much, but we're only able to see surface level of so many things of what's actually happening. That's interesting. Anything else you want to leave people with?
No, I just hope they'll come out and visit us at the farm. Each month there's a festival. So Tulip Festival is coming up, which is the 12th and the 13th. And
what happens at Tulip Festival?
We have 30,000 tulips that we harvest, or you can harvest if they're still in the ground. And bundles of tulips are sold, and with music. And it's just a really fun event. Gift shop. We have a gift shop here. Cut your own peonies coming up, which is a big crop for us.
Everybody loves a good peony.
And then we have cut your own fields that are open. Once peonies come in and go, then we have a little break. And then cut your own goes from the end of June all the way to first frost. Fields of dahlias, fields of cosmos and zinnias. It's just the whole farm is planted.
How nice is that to look out?
It's pretty awesome. It's hard in the spring because so many things are still sleeping. But yeah, it's really wonderful. And it's like seeing long lost friends when you finally get to see them after a year of waiting for them.
Do you think you guys will ever do flower growing workshops, or do you do those?
You know what? It could happen someday, but there's so much to this. And we sometimes throw it in the ground and see if it sticks. That's how it is for us around here sometimes.
Like with lots of things. Right?
Lots of things.
I feel like this flower analogy could just be applied to everything.
To everything. Yeah. It could be.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So I'll look for where people can find you. And it's beautiful out here, even if it is a kind of a rainy, cloudy day. It is so pretty.
Thank you. Yeah. It's a great place. Thanks.
It is a great place.